All right, I wanted to do a review of this audit by Jeff Gray at the Port Wentworth, Georgia City Hall.
I'll ask him to.
So just sweetly ask him to just float along?
Yes, ma'am. I'll take care of that for you. I love serving multi-purpose roles. Just to let you know, we also reset the AC to 72 upstairs. So
Well, the backstory here is Jeff Gray standing outside of the Port Wentworth City Hall with a sign saying, "God bless the homeless," or something like that. And the city clerk has called the police on him because they don't feel comfortable with a man standing out in front of City Hall with a sign. Right? That's the reason that they called. They don't feel comfortable. And of course, when the government doesn't feel comfortable, then they have the authority to make you stand on your head and eat gummy bears or whatever they want to do, right? Because they don't feel comfortable. But anyway, the feelings police show up and they enforce the feelings laws that that state that when someone has feelings, that the police have the authority to exert violence against the feeling perpetrator.
As for the...
Good, thank you. Yeah, but he's just standing over there with his sign.
All right. Let's see what's going on. What's going on, brother?
Hey, not much.
How you doing, man?
All right.
Been okay?
Yeah.
All right. What's your first name?
Sergeant Hemmington?
Yeah.
My name first name's Jeff. Jeff?
Jeff?
Yes, sir.
All right, Jeff. Hey, man. First, I appreciate the sign. That's awesome.
Hard of hearing, so can you speak up?
Yes, sir. So I appreciate the sign. That's pretty awesome. The ladies in front have asked me if you could go find another location to hang out. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not breaking any laws by any means.
Okay.
Okay, you're not breaking any laws. You're not doing anything wrong. The ladies want me to ask you if you will move along, sir. Okay, so it's a question.
You just right here in front of City Hall is a little bit different area. You know what I'm saying? It's city property.
City property?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's city property, which in the mind of this police officer is private property. Right? Treated the same way. The city clerk is the custodian of this private property, and they can ask you to leave from their private property anytime they want for whatever reason they want. This includes their feelings, right? They feel uncomfortable with you there, therefore they can, evict you from their private property. And that's the way the police officer understands the law. And because of his qualified immunity, even though his understanding of the law is a little flawed, he's, exercising his authority in good faith based on his understanding of the law, as stupid as it is.
But, you can go, legitimately, you can go at the corner on this side of the grass. You can go anywhere alongside the road.
Okay, that corner over there that is public property, you can go over there and stand on that corner over there that's public property. But this public property here is private and you can't stand here. Even though you're not doing anything wrong. You're not breaking any laws. We're just asking you to leave because you're holding a sign and the ladies feel uncomfortable.
Just city property, so they were asking if you don't mind just find another location.
Oh,
you're not breaking laws, you're not in trouble.
They're asking, it's a question. Will you do it, please? Please?
Well, just hang out here.
Well, that's kind of the issue. They don't want us to sit out here.
So the answer is no. No, I'm going to just stay here. But thank you for asking. Well, now it's an issue.
So, because it's city property, so they can ask you to leave if they want you to.
It's city property,
Well, no.
and they can ask you to leave. They can also ask you to stand on your head and eat gummy bears. They can ask you to do whatever they would like to ask you to do. Anybody can ask anybody anything. The question is more, can they dictate that you leave, mandate that you leave, demand that you leave, and if you don't, can they exercise dominion over you and force you into a cage?
But they're also the city owns the property, so they can ask you just to hang out somewhere else.
I'd rather not.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
Right. To this point, it's been asking. We're asking. And his answer is, no, thank you.
Did he give you a hard time?
Mm-hmm.
He did. Oh.
He giving you a hard time. He's an
413.
idiot. Did she just say he was an idiot?
Yeah, he used to give him some water.
These people here are idiots.
413.
How much straight cake? 4-3.
Okay, we're holding out with a 71 in front of City Hall. Non-combative. Can you start me a patrol unit?
You know,
Oh, yeah, that's at 413 City Hall, 7
All right, so technically he's not breaking laws, but he's on city property, so we can ask him to leave.
yes.
And that's
Technically, he's not breaking any laws, but he is on city property, and therefore we can ask him to leave. Well, asking someone to leave and telling them to leave is two different things. One is a question. If I'm asking you something, I'm asking a question. Will you leave? We're asking you to leave. That means, will you please leave? And if the answer is no, then, you asked and you were answered. Now, what the cop is not saying is we can demand that you leave, or we can require that you leave.
what I told him. I said, you're not breaking any laws. The ladies don't feel comfortable with you standing out here.
Got it.
I said,
Because he's the feelings police. Again, he enforces feelings. He doesn't enforce the law.
welcome to go stand over in the corner, down there, down there, down there. So now if he doesn't leave, it's trespassing.
Okay. Well, hopefully he will just go.
He's already, well, he's
So now if he doesn't leave, it's trespassing. Well, what does that mean? You haven't trespassed him. He's not trespassed after warning. That's not what you've done. But trespass after warning is an actual law. That is, leave, you're trespassing, and if you don't leave, I'm going to arrest you. Right? You haven't warned him. You haven't warned him. You have asked him to leave. You've asked. And he said, no, thank you. You have nothing at this point. You can't, declare him trespassing and arrested him if you haven't warned him. You haven't warned him. You've asked him.
yeah, I don't feel like leaving. I was like, well, I get that, but he's like, I'd rather not.
Feel like it? Is that what he said?
He'd rather not. He was polite about it. And I said, well, you're not breaking laws, but you are on city property. It says it's owned by the city. If they don't feel comfortable with you standing out here, even though you're spreading a good message.
Right, because the government officials can force you to leave public property for whatever reason that they want. For whatever, their feelings. They feel uncomfortable with you. If they feel uncomfortable with someone, they can make them leave public property. Really? What? Where do these people come from? How do they come to these conclusions? I mean, this is Georgia. These hicks are really not very bright, man.
You have to leave the property.
He can't stand in front of my city hall to my sports on the vet. Like,
Well, I mean,
we can't have
if it
that.
wasn't city property, but considering it's city property, it's considered private property.
Yeah.
So he can go stand on the roadside anywhere else. So I got.
City property is considered private property. Now, I'm assuming that he means like city buildings or, I mean, like in the city limits, any property that isn't private property is city property, right? That means like the streets, the sidewalks, the parks, right, etc., is the schools, right, the government buildings. Anything that isn't privately owned is city property. So what he's basically saying is you have private property and you have private property. All you have is private property. Everything is private property. I mean, but he's just got a real bad understanding of what private property is. No, city property is not considered private property. It's considered public property. It's public property. It's funded by the taxpayers. It's owned by everyone. It's not yours. It's not theirs. It's public property. Okay, that doesn't mean that there aren't rules that have to be, that need to be, are required to be adhered to. Okay, there are, but you can't just, a public official can't just trespass someone from city property, public property, for whatever reason that they want, because they feel uncomfortable. Right? That's just not how this works. It's not how any of this works.
Patrol you and come in that way. I can talk to him some more and see what's going on.
Keep us safe.
And then I gotta come see you.
And here we go again.
So I'm not trying to give you a hard time, dude. So
he's not trying to give you a hard time, dude. I'm not trying to give you a hard time, dude. Yes, you are. This cop is absolutely trying to give Jeff Gray a hard time. Otherwise, the cop would have said, you're not breaking any laws, you're not doing anything wrong. He's not hurt nobody. Let's just let him stand out there until his fucking balls get sweaty and he wants to go home. The end. I'm going to go back to the donut shop now and have a donut.
Is there a reason why you want to stand here?
God put it in my heart to stand right here and spread the message. God bless them.
What difference does it make? Is there a reason why? What difference? Doesn't matter if there's a reason or not. Has no bearing on anything. Who cares? Can he stand there? Is he lawfully able to stand there? He's got every lawful right to be there. Is he doing anything illegal? Oh, no. Leave the man alone. That's all you got to do. Just not trying to give you a hard time, dude, but is there a reason that you're standing here? Because I fucking want to. Idiot.
I'm all for that. I'm all for you recording. I got no issue with that, okay?
All right.
I got my body cam on. So,
Notice the cops always say that. Oh, we got our body cam on. We're recording you too. It's all recorded and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, their shit gets, spontaneously deleted and blocked and muted and everything else. So, record your public officials.
I don't even know what that's for. Probably so you get across the intersection. Anyways, so what I did was I called for a patrol unit because I'm actually working for the code enforcement.
Okay, this guy's code enforcement. He's the fucking, the little bitch asses that come and knock on your door and tell you, you got to cut your grass, or you can't have that car with that out-of-state license plate in your driveway, or, you need to call. You can't roll the, your whatever appliances or whatever out to the corner because it's trash. So you got to call ahead for that. He's the little bitch asses. He's like a meter maid. Fucking code enforcement guy. No wonder this guy doesn't know the law. He's fucking code enforcement. You know, he's not even a beat cop. Code enforcement, the absolute lowest form of law enforcement. Code enforcement. Like meter maids and code enforcement are glorified weenies.
Okay? I'm still a police officer. This is city property, okay? And you do have the right
He said, I'm still a police officer. Okay, great.
to spread your message anywhere you want, unless it's private property. Then they have the right to ask you to leave. They can't tell you.
Okay, so you can be anywhere you want unless it's private property. Then they have the right to ask you to leave. Okay, no shit.
Tear your sign up or anything like that.
Right.
But that's the whole point of why I was out here talking to you. The ladies didn't feel comfortable with somebody just hanging out in front of City Hall.
Okay.
What he never articulated there was, this is private property. All right. He made the statement that, you know, you can do it anywhere you want, but you can't do it on private property. He never said, and this is considered private property. Right? Which he did say to the other ladies, but like, no rational person is gonna think that City Hall is private property, right?
And being that it's on city property, they have the right to ask you to leave. You can go stand on that corner. You can go stand.
Now he's saying, being that it's on city property, they have the right to ask you to leave. Well, isn't that corner over there city property? So, like, some city official could come over there and say, I can't be here. And they could say, I can't be here and I can't be here. Right? Basically, for whatever reason, you know, anybody wants, in this cop's mind, any government official wants, they can ask you to leave, right? He's declared public property to be private property. There's no such thing as public property in this guy's mind.
Where it's not actual city property, and do as you wish, brother, and spread the message. Okay. So that's all I'm saying.
He said if it's not actual city property, I don't even know what that means. Right? If it's private property, okay, that's not city property. But he just said you can't be on private property if they don't want you to be there. So what else is there? What other types of property is there? There's public property, there's private property. Right? City property is public property. Anyway, you get my
Okay. Now, if you refuse to leave, then it would be trespassing.
Okay. I'm asking you to leave, and if you refuse to leave, then it would be trespassing. Okay, so at this point, are you trespassing me now? Or you have to, I mean, basically what he's saying is, I'm asking you to leave, and then if you don't leave, then I'm going to trespass you. Then it would be trespassing. So, I mean, it's not clear that he's saying you're trespassing, right? He's basically just trying to say, you know, we're asking you to leave. Right, you can't arrest somebody for trespassing unless it's after they've been warned. They have to be warned. Right, so this is, I guess, in the cop's mind, the warning.
You'll be in trouble. So I'm asking you nicely, if just to
You're gonna be in
relocate. That's all
trouble.
I'm asking you to do.
What
You
are
can
we
go spread that
saying?
message with love.
Okay.
And being that it's on city property, they have the right to ask you to leave. You can go stand on that corner. You can go stand anywhere it's not actual city property, and do as you wish, brother, and spread the message.
Okay.
So that's all I'm saying. Okay. Now, if you refuse to leave, then it would be trespassing, and then you'd be in trouble. So I'm asking you nicely.
So if you refuse to leave, then you'll be trespassing and you'll be in trouble. So it sounds like the cop is saying you're trespassing and you better leave. I mean, this cop's got an errant understanding of the trespass law.
Just to relocate. That's all I'm asking you to do. You can go spread that message with love any way you want, other than city property right here. You understand what I'm saying?
Is this city property?
All this is City Hall. It's just city property.
All right.
So I mean, Jeff is going right down the list. Is this city property? This is city property. And the cop says, yeah, this is city property. I mean, it's the same thing as saying, is this public property? And the cop says, yes, this is public property. I mean, it's basically the same thing, but the cop has an errant understanding of what city property is, right? The city property in the cop's mind is private property, right? And so then he goes, well, is this city property? Yes. Am I being trespassed?
Be a trespass?
Now, if you refuse to leave, then it would be trespassing, and then you'd be in trouble. So I'm asking you nicely, if just to relocate. That's all I'm asking you to do. You can go spread that message with love any way you want, other than city property right here. Exactly. You understand what I'm saying?
Is this city property?
All this is City Hall. This is city property.
All right. Am I being trespassed?
As of now, you are. Give me your ID.
Am I being trespassed? As of now, you are. Give me your ID. Okay? This is how this cop is an idiot, man. He's going from 0 to 100.
Now it's an investigation. I want your ID.
Leave then.
Not an investigation. Right? The cop is like, he's like, okay, now you're trespassed. There's a formal trespass procedure here. There's a form that I have to fill out. It's got to have your information on it, and you have to give me your information in the form of your ID. And if you don't give me your information in the form of an ID, then I can't fill out the form. I can't complete the trespassing procedure, and therefore you are hindering my ability to do my job. Right, that's where the cop is right now.
ID. You're not free to go now. Because now you want to play the game. Go ahead and give me your identification.
And it's interesting to note that in the mind of this police officer, they're playing a game. Right, now you want to play the game. What does that even mean? Like, yeah, if the game is I want to be secure in my things and effects against illegal searches and seizures in accordance with the Fourth Amendment, I want to exercise my freedom of speech on public property in accordance with on a traditional public forum, by the way, in accordance with the First Amendment. I want to do, what I have every right to do. I'm somehow playing a game. And the cop's like, I'm going to violate your rights. You want to play the game, and I'm going to play the game by violating your rights. No, dude. You're an idiot.
Trespassing me, I'll leave.
Give me the identification, you're going to jail.
Jeff says, if you're trespassing me, I'll leave. Right? Because that's the way that this whole process should have been. It should have been like, Jeff, you're not breaking any laws, but these private property owners here that we call the city officials on city property have demanded that you leave their property, and so you are being trespassed. So you can either leave the property or I can arrest you. So you are being trespassed. So this is your warning. You're being trespassed. Leave. But he never said that. He didn't want. He's under the impression that in order to declare that somebody is trespassing, you got to fill out a form and all this other bullshit.
Give me your identification so I can identify you and I can trespass you. Then you can leave. I'm not going to ask you a third time.
If I get arrested, I'll lose my job.
I'm not trying to arrest you. I'm trying to get you to comply with me, and you're trying to refuse to do that.
I'll lose my job. I mean, he's basically, appealing to the police officer's sense of morality, right? Like, what am I really doing? Why am I really arresting this guy that has no, he's not doing anything wrong. He's not breaking any laws. Do I really want to go down this route? Yeah, the cop really did. I'm not trying to remember. He's like, I'm not trying to bust your chops, man. This cop thinks that it just goes to, watching these videos over and over and time and again, it just goes to show that you don't have to have a very high IQ to be a police officer. You really don't. These guys are just not very fucking bright. They can learn a lot by watching some of Jeff Gray's videos. I mean, they can learn. Some of these cops are, understand how to do their job. You see more and more of them that are following this shit, and they figured it out. But this guy, he is a liability for that city. Jeff Gray is gonna sue, and they're gonna settle. Because there's no fucking, I think there's very little chance they can win this.
So listen to me carefully. I want your identification so I can identify you and trespass you.
Suspect me of?
Sir?
What crime do you suspect me of?
You're failing to follow a lawful order, which is they've asked you to leave city property or asked me to ask you to leave. You're refusing to do so. Now I'm going to trespass you from the property.
You're failing, he said, you're failing to obey a lawful order. And that lawful order is government officials have demanded that you leave their private property and you've refused to do so. Right.
Because I asked you 3 times last.
Get arrested, I'll lose my job.
I'm not trying to arrest you. I'm trying to get you to comply with me, and you're trying to refuse to do that. So listen to me carefully. I want your identification so I can identify you and trespass you.
Suspect me of?
Sir?
What crime do you suspect me of?
What crime do you suspect me of?
You're failing to follow a lawful order, which is they've asked you to leave city property or asked me to ask you to leave. You're refusing to do so. Now I'm going to trespass you.
So if they ask you to leave, right, which is a question, and you say no,
From the property. Because I asked you 3 times nicely to accept. Sir?
What crime do you suspect me of?
You're failing to follow a lawful order, which is they've asked you to leave city property or asked me to ask you to leave. You're refusing to do so. Now I'm going to trespass you from the property. Because I asked you 3 times nicely to step off somewhere else.
Leave.
No, now you wanted to refuse, so now I'm going to...
to trespass somebody from property, just say you're trespassed. That's all you got to do. He's under the impression he's got to go through the whole process, and he can try to go through the whole process, but I don't think you can just demand ID from somebody for that.
If I can trespass you.
If I don't give you my ID, I'll go to jail.
Like, what if you don't even have your ID on you, right? If I don't give you my ID, I'll go
That's
to
exactly
jail.
correct. You'll be arrested. You'll be fingerprinted and released.
That's a problem for Jeff right there, because Jeff asked the question, if I don't give you my ID, I'll be arrested. And the cop said that's correct. Well, at that point, it's prudent to surrender the ID under duress and say, okay, then I'll surrender my ID to you under the threat of arrest.
All I want is your identification. No, not because of the sign, but because you failed to comply with my investigation, which was I asked you to leave nicely initially. You wanted to play the game with me. Now I'm playing the game with you.
Well,
Let me have your identity.
You want to play the game with me? Now I'm playing the game with you. You want to play the game by exercising your rights? I'm going to play the game by violating your rights.
Let me have your identification.
I said I was
identification. I'm not going to say it.
The cop is not letting Jeff Gray speak at all. What Jeff could be trying to say is, I don't have any identification on me. I don't have it, Like that, wouldn't that change the cop's demeanor at that point? He'd be like, okay, well then what's your name? What's your date of birth? Where do you live or whatever information he's got to have. But he's just like everything that Jeff Gray is trying to say, he's just fucking cutting him off.
Turn around.
I'm a great constitution.
Let me have your identity. Stop. Let me have your identification.
I said I was
identification. I'm not going to say it.
What was he
Because you
trying to
failed
say?
to comply with my investigation, which was I asked you to leave nicely initially. You wanted to play the game with me. Now I'm playing the game with you.
Well, I said
Let me have your identity. Stop. Let me have your identification.
I said I was
identification. I'm not going to say.
What he said was, you asked him to leave, and he said, what I said was, I would rather not leave. You were asking him to leave, and he said, I would rather not leave. And the cop's like, just give me your ID. Give me your ID. I don't want to hear anything you got to say. Just give me your ID. And if you don't give me your ID, you're arrested. Right, the cop is going straight for the arrest here.
Handcuffs. Turn around.
I'm a great constitution.
Turn around. Let me see your sign. You put your phone in your pocket. All you have to do is give me your ID, bud. What's so hard with that?
All you need to do is just give up your constitutionally protected rights, your Fourth Amendment. Just give it up, bud. All you have to do is just fucking get on your knees and lick my boots. Just get on your knees and lick my boots, bud. What's so hard about that? Just squeal like a pig for me, boy. You got a pretty mouth. You got a pretty mouth, don't you? Got a pretty mouth. Like a donut.
You know the game because you want to say, am I being trespassed? You could have gave me your ID. I would have trespassed you and let you walk off, brother.
Yeah, you're telling me to leave. I would rather not leave.
No, you're playing the game with me is what you're doing.
If you're trespassing me, I'll leave.
I asked you to leave before that. You wanted to play.
Right? Yeah. See, and Jeff knows, like, if you're trespassing me, then I'll leave. Right? Because trespassing is you don't have the right to be here, and if you stay here, we're gonna put you in jail. Then he would leave, right? And that's what he was he's basically making that clear. Right? The cop does not understand the trespass law.
Game and make me trespass you. Don't play dumb games, man. It's gonna get you in trouble.
You're gonna make me trespass you. Well, I mean, yeah, you can't. Yeah, you have to trespass somebody if you don't want them to be there. And that leaves a paper trail. So your fucking name as the police officer is on that paperwork so that you can be sued for violating someone's rights. You personally.
Don't turn it. Why are you
I'm
stopping
putting
the
it in your
recording?
phone. I'm putting it in
You
your.
just stopped the recording, and it's all recorded right here.
And it's all recorded right here. I'm saving your battery.
Take my phone and start recording again.
Sure, gladly. If that's what you want me to do, brother, I will do that
Yes.
for you.
Thank you.
There you go.
Okay,
Put it
just
in your
put it in my
pocket.
shirt pocket right here.
I'm gonna put it in this pocket. It's gonna fall out because it's an iPhone. I don't want to break it, dude. I don't have the money to replace your phone. You see how this easy this would have been? Here, officer. Here's my ID. Now, I probably would have trespassed you because I asked you at least 5 to 6 times to step off the property.
Right.
You said
This
politely
is
that you
where
didn't want to do that. I didn't have a problem.
This is where the cop-splaining starts. The cop's gonna, plead his case for the cameras.
All you had to do is just give me your ID, bud. All you got to do is just get on your knees, spread your butt cheeks. Just do it. That's all you had to do. I mean, I'm a fuck you in the ass, whatever, What's the big deal? Give up your rights. Just give up your rights. All you got to do is just give up your rights.
And it just you hate fucking cops like that. And there's nothing that Jeff can say because all the cops doing is just trying to bait him into an argument that's going to make Jeff look bad, right? There's nothing that you can say. The cop's got his opinion. He doesn't get the last word, and guess what? His fucking qualified immunity might very well be stripped for this because this shit is fairly cut and dry. You can't, can't do this kind of stuff, bro.
About that. I went back and asked the ladies. I said, "What do you feel comfortable with?" They said, "No, I don't feel comfortable with standing out here because there's a bunch of ladies that work in here."
They don't feel comfortable with you, Jeff. Don't you know I'm the feelings police? I enforce the feelings. I'm the feelings law enforcement. The feelings police. That's my job, is to enforce feelings.
Even though you're not being violent, they have the right to ask you to leave, partner.
You ain't broken
All you
any
had to do is go
laws.
step off to the next
You
land
ain't done
property
nothing
over there,
wrong.
and you could spread the message of
You
love.
stand here
all
minding
day.
your own fucking business,
You
doing
understand what I'm
your thing.
I wasn't trying to bust your chops, man.
I'm trying to
Just doing
bust
my
your
job.
shop.
Everything's fine.
Doing my job.
Okay, you have that right. You have that right. The only thing you have to answer is name, date of birth, and about your current address. Is all that current on
He doesn't have to answer any fucking thing. You got his ID, dipshit. You got his ID. He don't have to answer you. Go fuck yourself. This cop is stupid, bro.
license?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. All right, hang tight for a second.
Hang
I'm going to grab your
tight.
sign so we can take that with you, okay?
Anyway, that's about it, man. I just watched this video and it pissed me off, bro. I don't know. Stupid motherfuckers. All right. Y'all have a good one.